Know about it until sometime after January 6th of 1994.
Okay, now let's back up. So he's taking his drug, and then one night he's in the bedroom, and what happened?
Carl went to bed about 10:30 on January 6th, and about an hour later, his brother Alan came out to wake up his father and I and told us that something was wrong with him.
And when his brother Alan came in and said something to you, Dad, what did you say?
Well, I immediately got up and ran back to the bedroom where Carl and Alan shared the same room, and asked Alan to go ahead and get his mom up. I'd fallen asleep on the couch that night because it was late when I came in from work. I went back to the bedroom and found Carl laying in his bed. His eyes were wide open. He was clenching his fists as if he was fighting something, but there was nothing there to fight. He was incoherent. He was taking real deep, long breaths, but there was large, huge amounts of time between them. We immediately had one of my sons dial 911 and hand me the phone, and I very calmly, while giving the address and so forth, and trying to describe to him what the situation was I was coming up with, was trying to slap him on the face, calling his name, shaking him, trying to get a pulse from his wrist, which I couldn't get a pulse, and then also from the carotid artery on the neck. While I still had 911 on the phone, and after I'd given him the information, his mom came back to the room. I was trying to get a blood pressure on him and couldn't get a blood pressure in any fashion. Within the next, what seemed to be an hour, but was only just a minute or so later, we turned around and I realized that he'd stopped breathing altogether. Carl was a big kid. Carl was only 17 years old, and he was 6 foot, 6'1", about 230 pounds at the time he died. And it took myself and the other two brothers to help drag him off the bed, get him down onto the floor in the kitchen. There, I immediately checked and cleared his airway and began CPR, mouth-to-mouth resuscitation on him to try to save my son. The emergency squad was dispatched, and it took approximately 25 to 30 minutes to get to the house.
And you're giving him CPR the entire time?
The entire time. Mm-hmm. And it was a nightmare that I live with every minute of my awakened day and sleeping nights, because I always have the image of my son's eyes still fixed and dilated, and I'm looking into him, trying to breathe life into him and trying to get him to stay alive.
And during this, you had no idea he was taking these pills. So you didn't know what was going on. You just thought your son was maybe having a stroke or something, correct?
Right.
Correct.
So you went to the hospital, and then he passed away.
Right. At the hospital, the emergency squad showed up and performed CPR. They tried all the normal drugs that you use to try to re-stimulate the heart. They maintained the CPR all the way to the county hospital. There at the hospital, they tried all the additional drugs that they were allowed to use, and then also tried an external pacemaker. Approximately 40 minutes after we had arrived at the hospital, the doctor came out and said that they couldn't bring him back. And that's when part of our nightmare really started from that point on.
Okay, that's when it started. Now, how did you find out what killed your son?
When we were in the emergency room with Carl, I asked to see my son. I wanted to spend some time with him. And the doctor came in and said that he felt that there was probably a heart defect that was never detected, and I said, that's not true. There is no way that a 17-year-old kid in the physical condition that Carl is in is just going to die in bed asleep. If he's got a heart defect, it would have showed up on the football field, so we demanded an autopsy. 2 months later, we got the results of this autopsy back, Montel, and it was like going through the whole thing all over again. When the autopsy came back, it showed that Carl died of a toxic to lethal level of ephedrine.
Toxic to lethal. And you don't, now when he was taking this, of course you talked to his friends about this. How many of these pills were they taking a day?
We have no idea how many Carl was taking a day. We're not even sure when he started taking them.
Okay. But this is still, I mean, I'm a parent. And as a parent, you know, you trust your children to maybe not make the decisions to go and buy Coke and other stuff off the street. But you go into a health food store and you buy a product from a health food store because you got an athletic son. I mean, I probably would have bought it. My son gets big enough, I go buy him something that will enhance him on a football field. And this product kills your son.
Right.
I mean,
right.
What, I know you've got to be mad. You have testified before the FDA.
Angry. Yes, I did.
Over this.
I went to the FDA and I said something has to be done because this is out there. People are taking it and don't know the dangers associated with it.
And I'm not quite sure if even looking at the faces and the eyes of people in this audience, how many of you know what this chemical can be included in? What kind of pills that are out there? Almost, I shouldn't say almost every, a lot of the diet pills that are out there today have ephedrine in it at different dosages. Each capsule has a different dose from the one before because they can't mix it correctly. So when you take one diet pill, that one diet pill may not hurt you. The other 2 you take the next day can kill you. This will shut your heart down immediately. We're going to take a little break. When we come back, we're going to meet Charles. Matter of fact, you can welcome Charles to the show right now. Charles, like so many other young men out here across the country, lifting weights, weightlifter, working out all the time, and he starts taking, a little chemical that they have in the gym. What was that chemical?
I was taking the actual herb My Wong.
My Wong. Now,
It has the ephedrine in it.
you may hear My Wong. My Wong and ephedrine are pretty similar when they come to herbal chemicals. They're the same chemical. They appear in a lot of different drinks, from sports drinks to sports tab, things called Rip Force, Rip Fuel. All those things that you see in the gym that you can go buy for post-workout, and you go and drink one of these things down, well, there's My Wong or ephedrine in that, and that's what you were taking. I'm going to let them know what happened to you a little later on. We'll take a break, and you tell them as soon as we come back. We'll be back right after this. Chemical that's being sold in health food stores and being sold in backs of magazines, from children's magazines to teenage magazines to adult magazines. Chemicals that are being sold to either give you a natural herbal high, to give you more energy, to help you stay awake, to make you more productive as an athlete, to make you more productive as a lover, to make you, give you that high so you don't have to use illegal drugs, so you can use illegal things. We're talking about a drug that's out there right now. It's called ephedrine, which is also called Ma Huang, which it can be identified in a lot of different herbal concoctions all over the country. I'll give you some names throughout the show. But again, please welcome Charles now to the show. Charles, why don't you just tell us about your experience with Ma Huang?
Okay, basically, over the years, working out, I've taken every supplement that would come out, like amino acids and most of the stuff. To be quite honest, Americans have the most expensive urine. You take things, they don't do what they say they do, and you just excrete it from your body, and it's no benefit. You're wasting your money. Well, I started taking like My Wong as an herbal. I'm thinking, I buy it from a health food store. You think anything from a health food store, first of all, even if you did take 10 times the recommended dosage, it can't hurt you from a health food store.
You think like vitamin C.
Right,
You take
vitamin C or
you know,
any type of vitamin or a health food.
Right.
So I was taking the My Wong basically as an energizer and for muscle definition before I'd work out.
Mm-hmm. And
after a few months, after taking it, another thing, it's not fat, it's not water soluble. It doesn't leave your body like the other stuff. It's fat, so it stays in your system.
Mm-hmm.
So I worked out in the morning, took some, went to work, came back, worked out at night, took some, went to bed, woke up in the morning, had a stroke.
You had a stroke?
Stroke. I was my left side was totally paralyzed.
Left side was totally paralyzed, and you right now still have brain damage from this, correct?
My memory's screwed up. My speech is slurred, especially when I'm tired.
Tell me what you have to do to maintain your memory.
I got to keep my refrigerator. I have a, what do you call it, like a notepad. I have calendars everywhere. At my office, I have calendars. I keep one calendar for court, one for, I'm a police officer. I go to court a lot, and have one for court and one for just other things that come up.
Now, are you still on active duty as a police officer?
Yeah.
Full service now?
Yeah.
You've been reinstated then?
Right.
Because there was a while where they had you physically not qualified, right?
Right. Well, the doctor did, yeah, not the department.
Okay. So let me take a little break, because before I take a break, I'm going to tell you this. Yesterday, we sent an undercover camera out to see how easy it was to buy ephedrine. Take a look at this tape.
Is there anything with ephedrine in it? What's the difference between Ma Huang, whatever, and, I'm sorry, and ephedrine?
Not the same thing.
And what is this? What does this do?
Ephedrine is like a drug. It gives you a lot of energy, helps curb your appetite, stimulate your metabolism, that kind of thing. Just put it this way, if you take it, you'll know your taste.
Is it safe, though?
Yes, it is. It gives you energy, it gives you endurance, a lot of endurance that when you go to the gym to work out. I have a friend that he was taking this, and he told me that it feels like he could go to the gym and work out for like 6 hours straight.
Are you serious?
That it makes you
And this is natural?
Yeah, it's all natural with you. It's all natural.
It's all natural enough to kill you, I'll tell you that. We're going to take a little break. When we come back, we're going to meet the CEO of a company that manufactures the chemical itself that's called Herbal Ecstacy. He's here. He says, hey, There's nothing wrong with what I've got. What I'm doing is much more safer than anything else that they have on the open market. We'll take a break and we'll be back right after this.